Yeah, so this is our course structure. So right now we are here. It is just to take away the virginity of this particular document, so that it will not remain as something new to you. Yeah, just familiarize you with the course structure. So that is the intent of today's session. And we'll be talking about the origins of Agile, when to go Agile, because every project is not a candidate for Agile. So some of the projects like Agile is the right methodology. For some other thing, okay, definitely you can go with waterfall. That's perfectly okay. So Agile is not the solution for all the projects. For some projects it works well. For some projects it is an overkill. Then we should understand the Agile manifesto. We'll be covering all these things. Then popular Agile methodologies, Agile principles and practices. There are 12 Agile principles and practices. We should really know them inside out, the real spirit of it. Then life will become easy. And a quick overview of the Agile practices and a small exercise and a test. That will be module 1 for us. The course material part of it, the slides I'll be giving you, the videos, some videos of mine as well as some videos of others on YouTube I'll recommend to you, which I use for my preparation. And there is a good document, it's still evolving, called Agile Body of Knowledge. So that will give us the knowledge of all the generic things. That is very valuable piece of information. So these 3 things will give you enough material to understand these things. On top of it, okay, I'll be taking you through the course material as well, through the slides as well. Then now the question is, okay, Deepu has typed in a question like, what is the demand for PMI-ACP in the industry? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. So it is really, it is something very, very new. Okay, so there is certified Scrum Masters are there, product owners are there, and the Scrum itself, there are several certifications in Agile. The CSM is there, CSPO is there, CSP is there, and Ken Scaber has started his own certifications now, separate things. Scrum.org, they have their own certifications. Scrum Alliance have their own certifications. And PMI has started with PMI-ACP now. So knowing PMI very well, so definitely, okay, the PMI-ACP will catch up. So that's how. So PMI know how to promote it. So I'm not really bothered about these things. So a certificate is always, it's like hygiene factor. When we say hygiene factor, so see, just because you are PMI-ACP, you will not become a great Agile practitioner. But then you may be a great Agile practitioner, but if you don't have that certification, you may miss some great opportunities. That is for sure. So it's a kind of a hygiene factor for a good job. For PMP also the same thing. I've seen many people losing great opportunities because they are not PMP certified. And we cannot blame others, because at least if somebody is a PMP certified project manager, I can take it for granted that, okay, he knows the basics of project management. So when I do business with a stranger, so these things will definitely help. But then along with the certifications, an added responsibility also comes to you, because after being a PMI-ACP, and if you don't know what is Agile, then okay, that is the end of you in an interview. Yeah, because then you will create an image where you are not even trainable, kind of an image you will create. So along with the certification, an added responsibility also comes along with it. So my recommendation is don't take a certification to be in the good books of others. You should be enthusiastic about it. You should have the mindset to practice it. And if others want to give weightage for it, let them give weightage, no problem. Because if I'm conducting an interview and if a qualified, a certified project manager comes and sits in front of me, then the interview itself is going to be tougher. And if he cannot answer the basics, then it is very, very risky for him. Yeah, I hope I answered. So knowing PMI, they will sell it very strategically. Now in outside Asia, maybe in Asia itself, in the Middle East also, outside India rather, if you want to get a job as a project manager, you have to be a PMP certified guy. That is for sure. And if you are in the agile space, slowly, okay, these things also will come in. Either you should be a certified Scrum Master or you should be a PMI-ACP. So that's it. Okay, so then going back to the second module, the first this part, then the second one is then we go in depth into the Scrum nuts and bolts. The roles and responsibilities of a Scrum Master, product owner, team members, and then we talk about the product backlog. Then the sprint planning meeting, sprint backlog, tracking board, sprint demo, retrospectives, and tests. So yes, can we add this course to the CCR to PMP? Yes, definitely. You will get 22 PDUs you can add. Right, so that's fine. So so in week 1, so I think we have a tight schedule. On week 1, you'll be covering the module 1 and then the module 2. For module 2, the reference material is the Scrum guide. I'll send you the link, the Scrum guide. You can download it from scrum.org. This is a, I think, 16 or 17 page document created by Ken Squaber and Jeff Sutherland. So we should understand Scrum as per that document, line by line. So that's a great reference material. Then the slides which I'll provide you, that is also suffice. Then going down, module 3. We'll be talking about user stories, user story development techniques, story points, ideal time, wideband Delphi, playing poker, exercise may be there, may not be there. I'm not very sure. Again, here you will not get a lot of reference material. The only thing I'll provide is the slide and the video, and if required, okay, we can have a special session on it, on understanding the user stories, because on the user story front you will get a lot of questions, and it is just a best practice. It is not part of any particular framework. Then comes the sprint planning meeting. It's a integral part of Scrum. So we'll be talking about the planning meetings. Again, the Scrum guide will help. Videos I'll recommend, and the slides also I'll provide you. Sprinting, again, Scrum guide is a great thing. So in week 1, we'll have to complete modules 1 to 5. And for a person with Scrum knowledge, okay, this should be a breeze. But for a person who doesn't know Scrum, we'll have to put in some extra effort. And if you are a full-fledged registered student, I can definitely work along with you in explaining these things. And this is optional. A dummy project following Scrum is optional. As I said earlier, if you have hands-on experience in Scrum already, then this may not be required. But if you are a person who is very new to Scrum, then okay, that person may have to. It will be helpful if that person can implement this at his workplace, for at least for his own work. So from Dubai, somebody from GEMS. So he was doing it. He's a PMP, doesn't have exposure to Scrum. So this much we covered in a week's time, and then we asked him to implement uh, the Scrum in for his work and his team's work. So that, and he's really enthusiastic about the whole thing, because he says that just by implementing this, the teaming improved quite a lot. So that's what he's saying. So and he could understand it very well. Even through online, along with the dummy project, he understood the nuts and bolts of Scrum. So because Agile is more like taking photographs. See, if you have a SLR camera and then put it into program mode, you keep clicking, everything will come out okay. But till you get a hang of aperture and shutter speed and fully manual mode, then only the real potential comes out. So most of the agile methods are like that. So you can always put a whiteboard, yellow post-it, stand-up meeting. You'll get some benefits, but not the fullest benefit. If you really want to get the fullest benefit, then you should understand the linkages between all these things. And most of the PMI-ACP questions will be pertaining to execution and the strategy before implementing Agile and those kind of things. So that is from the practitioner's perspective. So you should get a hang of all these things. So you must have hands-on. So that's for those guys who doesn't know Scrum or any of the Agile. Somehow you should get that hands-on stuff. Reading alone will not help. Then okay, we will get into, in the week 2 we'll get into the general best practices, like agile tools available, the common agile tools, osmotic communication. See, don't get frightened by the name. It's all very simple things. WIP limits, cumulative flow diagrams, process tailoring. All these things are explained in this agile body of knowledge. Again, we'll be providing you with the links. And we'll have video sessions like this explaining each of these things. Affinity estimation, product roadmaps, story maps, wireframes, charting, frequent verification, validation. So all these things we'll have to see. You may not get a lot of questions on each bullet. At least one question you can expect. And the exam has only 200 questions, which runs for 300 minutes. So you cannot miss out on these things. Test-driven development and test-first development. At least you should know what it is and what is the difference between test-driven and test-first. I don't know. The question is, Agile BOK, is it from Great PM? I don't know. Yeah. So somehow while surfing, I landed up there, and it's a wiki. So I don't have a document, so it's primarily you get into that wiki page, and then all these things are there in a searchable form. Okay, so it's an open document. Anybody can update it, but then the information is very valuable. Okay, then again week 3 we have to master all these things: negotiation, emotional intelligence, collaboration, adaptive leadership, conflict resolution, servant leadership, and building high performance teams. See, the issue with these things are each bullet here is a good topic to take a PhD, because it is worth a research. But then, okay, there are people who have done commendable work on these things. There are enough information available on the web. So I'll be able to give you the appropriate videos and the web and the reference material for these things. And we can have dialogues around it. Then these concepts, return on investment. Oh, these are all coming from the conventional. If you are a PMP, then these things will be very, very easy for you. right? So the Agile is all about value-based prioritization and risk-based prioritization. For that, we should really know the concepts like return on investment, net present value, internal rate of return, compliance, customer valued prioritization, minimally marketable feature, relative prioritization, and business case development. So these things will be very handy for people with a PMP background, but we'll be covering them elaborately in the class as well. Then comes the Agile contracting method. So here we had one webinar on Agile contracting methods. The video is already uploaded on our YouTube. So Agile contracting methods primarily talks about a value-based contracting. You go and tell the customer that, okay, you give me the cost alone now, and when you start getting the benefits, you give me a percentage of the benefits as well, kind of thing. So that will augment the real partnership with the client and that kind of stuff. So we'll be again discussing it in detail. Then Agile project accounting principles. So all these things we'll be covering you have to cover rather on week 3. So when we cover at the end of week 3, I think we should be able to give you this 22 contact hour certificate, provided we have completed all those things. But then if you are on writing the exam based on a money back guarantee, so at this stage you can apply for the exam because the processing, they may have their own processing time. But then we'll be giving you practice test and assessment test, and when you start scoring around 80% on this assessment test consistently, you can do it multiple times. That is when you go and write the final exam. And after that, if you fail, out of this $350 which we are giving us, we'll refund $300, right? So and the other option is, okay, you can always get into the course without this money back guarantee, so that is only coming with $110 US, whereas if you're getting with money back guarantee, it is $350. The idea is that I like to spend more time, and we are also taking more responsibility. So for that part, we also should be rewarded. That's why the course fee is higher. So some of you know us, and this is about this is about us. So if you have any questions at this stage, you can key in. So at this stage, if you have any questions, please type, key in them so that I can answer. So this is the structure of the course. So if you have any questions on the structure and the fee structure, the money back guarantee, or the PMI exam itself, you're feel free to ask me questions. The voice is muted, so you'll have to type in. So you have to use the chat window. The question is, again, any supplementary materials needed for passing ACP? I did not buy any book, actually. I did not buy any book. So now people tell me that books are available. PMI is recommending, I don't know, a lot of books they are recommending, and these authors are not at all famous in the Agile circles, right? So I don't know. So I've seen people buying all these books. So then you'll make your life more difficult, because you have to go through those books. 10 books of 300 pages, then life is difficult. So my recommendation would be, don't buy any books. Blindly follow what we are recommending. I think you should pass. And after that, if you want to augment your knowledge further, then okay, maybe definitely you can buy books. Or if you're particular about buying some books, okay, we can give you the list of books which will definitely help you to master Agile. So Deepu has a question like, do you have a combination model for this with the contact program? So what is that, Deepu? Can you elaborate? Yeah, the question is, okay, do you at Cochin, okay, yeah, we are planning one, and Qatar also something is happening by end of this month. But then this is more effective actually. We can guide you when you really if you can practice it at your workplace, we can work along with you. So I don't recommend a classroom training for if you are preparing for PMI-ACP. A classroom training may not be required. But then if you want to implement Scrum at your workplace and want to understand inside out of Scrum, maybe a classroom training can help. People have implemented Scrum even with online training and with doubt clarification sessions. So some of the concepts they learn and they go back to their workplace and implement it, and they come back with the difficulties they faced, and then they'll have a lot of questions to ask me. So that way, a classroom training, an online training is more effective than a classroom training, because here you will get some time to go back and implement the concepts at your workplace, then come back. And yeah, so that way, whereas in a classroom training, you come to the class for 2 days, and after that, you are on your own. So that is one disadvantage with classroom training. So now, slowly, I'm becoming a fan of online training than classroom training, because classroom training, this is the issue. 2 days you are in the class, after that, oh, you just leave it there. Whereas online training, this course will get over in 3 or 4 weeks time. So you have some time to go back and reflect and read and come back with more questions, and so it's more of a mentoring. To answer your question, in Cochin we are conducting program, Bangalore we are conducting, Qatar also we have programs on PMI-ACP. So if you are from other locations, maybe online is the only option. But if you are from these locations, maybe classroom training is also fine. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, so I'm done with my agenda for the day, and now this is the course structure, and the next thing is let us get a dose of the agile principles and values. 1 minute. Can you see the slides? Are you able to see the slide? Okay. So agile is not a highly rule-based thing. It is more of a value-based model where the entire team works based on a set of values like commitment. Means the team should be willing to commit to a goal. Scrum provides people all the authority they need to meet their commitments. So generally in project management, people tend to think that it's all about command and control. As a project manager, you will tell people what to do and they will blindly follow that. Whereas here we are talking about a self-organizing team, a self-directed team, where manager's role is only that of a facilitator. The team decides how to proceed with the work, and it is based on work volunteering. So a committed team is a prerequisite to implement any agile method. So when we say work volunteering, if you have a team member who is not committed and who will not pick up any work and do, then what do you do? So and if you have team members who cannot commit to any particular goal, then what you're going to do. So a committed team is a prerequisite to work in a agile team. Then the team should be it should be highly focused team. That means, okay, you just do your job. Focus all your efforts and skills on doing that work you have committed to doing. Don't worry about anything else. So in your organization, a lot of things can happen. Mergers can happen, acquisitions can happen, pink slips can happen. So as a focused team member, you are not influenced by any of those things. You just come and then you just, with 100% commitment, you do what you're supposed to do based on your role definition. So that is a prerequisite for effective scrumming. Whereas in waterfall and all, you have enough time to talk about strategy and issues and all those things. Here, most of the time we are working under tight time pressures and there is no time for most of these things. So it's all about just committing to something and then just doing it and finishing it off. Scrum is all about openness. That means Scrum keeps everything about a project visible to everybody. How part we'll discuss later, how everything is going to be open. So in Scrum actually, or in Agile, there is no need for anybody to ask the status of the project because everything is visible. If you really look at the whiteboard, everything is visible. You will know who's working on what is the status of every task, what is the effort consumed, and how much more effort is required to meet the next milestone. Everything is available. And this is visible for anybody in the organization because it's all publicly displayed. So Scrum is all about openness and it's all about respect. So individuals are shaped by their background and their experiences. It is important to respect the different people who comprise a team. So that is another aspect of Agile. And the courage. Have the courage to commit, to act, to be open, and to expect respect. So very often we are working on a one-liner sort of requirements. We may not have the complete information on a particular feature before you commit. And during executionally, sometimes you get more insight into all those things. So at the same time, you're allowed to revise your estimates and all that is okay. So, but still you need some guts to say that, okay, I'll give it a try and then finish it off by so-and-so date. So that is called for. So Scrum is not a rule-based. These are the primary values based on which it is built. It's like commitment, focus, openness, respect, and courage. So if these things are not there, then it is very difficult to implement Scrum. Yep. So Then the Agile Manifesto, there is a site for this called agilemanifesto.org. So all these things are cut and paste from there. It's not my creation. So it is, the manifesto talks like this, like primarily we believe in individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Means process and tools are fine, but then we need great people in the team, and they should work cohesively as a unit to deliver something valuable to the client. So process and tools can help, but it is not a substitute for individual brilliance and interactions. We believe in working software over comprehensive documentation. Like, we don't believe in too much documentation. We don't believe in a 500-page SRS or 600-page SRS. But we do believe in maybe a 40-page architectural document and coding standards. And our primary faith is in working software, because that is the only proof of completion. We believe in customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So contract and all is fine, but then it's all about partnering with the client in delivering what he or she wants. So that is the essence of most of the Agile teams. And we believe in responding to change over following a plan. Changes are inevitable. Even if we say that, okay, changes is evil, it is going to happen. So instead of resisting change, we are adopting or adapting a model where which promotes change. So let the change happen, and we are here to really incorporate that into the work. Otherwise, the customer will not benefit. So the background of this was, there was a time when people started believing that if you processize everything, if you write procedures and guidelines for everything, even with dumb teams, we can deliver great things. So that was a thought process at some point in time, not far away. And this was at the cost of the techies, of the technical people. And when they were pushed to the corner, they retaliated, saying things like, if you want to really create a great product, you need somebody to give the requirements, and you need some great engineers to work on it, and maybe you need somebody to test it. That's it. So all others are not adding direct value to the deliverable. So that is a thought process here. So we need a Scrum Master or the Agile Project Manager. We need a product owner to give the requirements. Then we need a set of team members who can really bring value to the table. So that is idea, and they will decide how to work. And the project manager's role is more of a servant leader, not of a Harry Sado. So the servant leader primarily asks these questions: what can I do for you? Is there anything which I can do so that the performance can be improved? Then asking the team members, why it is not done and all. So a radical paradigm shift is required to convert from a conventional manager to an Agile project manager. The last line is very, very important, because that is, while there is value on the items on the right, we value on the items on the left more. So we are the Agile enthusiasts. They should never say things like, we don't believe in documentation, we don't believe in planning and all. So there is value on the items on the right. That is for sure. There is definitely value here. We are not saying that these things are redundant, but we definitely see more value on the items on the left. We always believe in enough documentation. We always believe in enough contract related, not talking. We always believe in a flexible plan, but then those things cannot overrule the items on the left. So that is idea. So that should be understood very, very well. So generally there is a notion in the industry, like if somebody is into Agile, that means, okay, Agile means everything will be ad hoc and all. So that's all lack of knowledge. Agile is not ad hoc. Agile comprises of a set of very stringent value-based guidelines which cannot be diluted, and that will be adhered to and implemented 100%. So it is not ad hoc, but then it is a very lightweight framework. If you have questions, please ask, because that will give me some break. I can relax when you ask questions. Okay, no questions. Okay, if you have questions, okay, please key in those questions, because I've muted all the microphones. So if any questions, clarifications, just use the chat window. Okay, then comes the 12 agile principles. Again, this is not my creation. I've taken it from the net. So here we are talking about our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So waterfall model and all, it gives a big bang release at the end of the project, and then the customer may get the last minute surprises, and after that there is no recovery. So Agile comprises of an early and continuous delivery. So in Scrum especially, we are talking about 30 days delivery, every 30 days we come out with a set of demonstrable features which is demonstrated to the customer, and either they can accept it, or if they have any further feedback on it, they can provide it. So this gives enough room for technology risk management as well as functional risk management. So we welcome changing requirements even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. So change is inevitable, so it's okay, because sometimes if the change is not incorporated, the customer will not be able to use the system. So there is no point in resisting. Then we deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with preference to shorter time scale. So we already mentioned in Scrum we are talking about 30-day cycles, which is not mandatory. Sometimes we go for shorter cycles. So maximum is 30 days. In Agile, business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Here when we say business people, we are referring to the product owner, who is the representative of the customer, who is giving you the requirements. So ideally they should be co-located, but in an outsourced environment that co-location may not happen, but then still they should work as a unit. The product owner, the Agile project manager / Scrum Master, and the team members, they should work as a one cohesive unit. Then only Scrum can be, or Agile can be implemented. We build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. The most effective method of conveying information to and within the development team is face-to-face conversation. So here we talk about co-location of the team. The team should work in one single location so that they can communicate face-to-face, because face-to-face communication eliminates the room for error in communication, and it's pretty fast and quick and straightforward. So that is ideal. So that will improve productivity. Then we believe in working software, because we don't believe in this big red, yellow, green reports and then analyzing it. If the feature is ready, demonstrate it. That means, okay, that is done. Otherwise, it is not done. So that is ideal. Agile process promotes sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and the users must be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. So here we are talking about 8-hour working days. When we say 8 hours of effective work, and after 8 hours the people should go home, because most of the Agile teams, they are working under tremendous time pressures. The team will be definitely under tremendous pressure, so they cannot continuously work for 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours per day. So because of that, the stipulation is there. So we work 8 hours per day so that we can have a sustainable development. Because a typical project may run for maybe 6 months or 7 months. So don't expect people to work for 14 hours every day. they get burned out very, very easily. So here we are talking about 8-hour working days. Okay, so that's about, so agile methods including Scrum are value or principle based rather than rule based. So that is the primary difference between waterfall and agile. So if you have questions, I'll answer those questions. You can type in. Otherwise, we have covered the agenda for the day, because the agenda was take you through the course outline and then cover the agile principles and values. So that part we have covered. So at this stage, if you have any clarifications or questions, you can type it in the chat window. I'll answer it. And if you want to understand Scrum further, the best document would be okay. So sorry, I didn't see these questions. There were, okay, so there were some questions here. Sorry, I'll answer them. How scope is controlled in Scrum? The idea is, okay, why should the scope be controlled? This is a question by Vinod. So now let's say Vinod, see, now we have an agreement like, okay, I'll prepare you for PMI-ACP. That is a scope. And now if you come and ask me for, maybe I want to do PMP as well, should I say no to it because there is a scope change now? Should I say no to it? I need not say no, but at the same time it cannot be free. So in any project management, there is a connection between time, cost, and scope. When the scope changes, the cost changes, and the timeline also changes sometimes. If the scope changes, I'll have to put more resources into it. Still, I can meet the same timeline. So there is that's why I said project management is more like photography. So there is a connection between aperture, shutter speed, and aperture and shutter speed. So if the, or maybe ISO. So if the shutter speed is high, I need a larger aperture. I need a shorter aperture. So scope is not controlled in Scrum. Scope is just evaluated. If it is mandatory, you have to deliver it. And the contract type which we are signing with the customer should be conducive for that. So it cannot be like maybe in a fixed price contract in its classical form, sometimes may be difficult. Maybe a time and material will work. A time and material or a fixed price with a time and material with a cap, that's fine. And in fixed price also we have the provision for change requests. So definitely if you have a notion like any change in scope has to be delivered free of cost, that is wrong in any form of project management. So as an engineer, your idea is to deliver something valuable to the customer so that he can use it. So if there is a change request has to be raised for it, it will be raised. Whether it should be billed or not and all, that's all managerial decisions. An engineer need not worry, or the development team need not worry about it. I hope I answered Vinod's question. Then Deepu had a question like, how do we convince management about team productivity in agile projects? Deepu, at no point in time, or I'll never quote things like, if you follow agile, your productivity will go up. I'll never say that. See, going to a doctor every week will not improve my health. Either it can give me good news or it can give me bad news very early so that I'll get more time to work on it. That is the only idea. So over a period of time my health will improve, and over a period of time my productivity will improve. That is perfect. So in Agile, okay, definitely it contributes to better risk management. So if you put an incompetent team, they will fail in the first 30 days time itself. They'll fail miserably. So if you put an incompetent team on a project and you follow waterfall and Agile, if they work in Agile, their productivity will improve. No, that is a wrong notion. So if an incompetent team works on Agile, they will fail in the first 30 days time itself. Whereas in waterfall, that failure will come out only after 6 months. So here we get more time to recover, whereas that final failure will be catastrophic and the customer will suffer. You will get the bad news very early in Scrum. And the moment. So after some time, the team will improve, and after that, okay, we can talk about productivity. We can compare. That is perfect. So just by using the same team and then you change the methodology alone, the productivity may not improve. Yeah. So I'll never say that okay, Agile will. If you implement in the same team, Agile and Waterfall, I'll never say that the productivity will improve. Sometimes the team will collapse first, then improve. Yep. So convincing the management, it all depends on how bad you are as of today, right? If Waterfall is really working for you, why should you change? Then if Waterfall is not working for you, then why should you continue with Waterfall? So it's all about honesty, right? So Scrum is all about integrity, honesty, commitment. So you'll ask these brutal questions, straightforward, and somebody should answer it. It may be politically incorrect, but then still you'll have to answer. Otherwise, okay, continue with Waterfall. Absolutely no problem. Yep. So convincing the management is like this. If they say, yeah, there is no problem, don't change anything. It's okay. Waterfall, your team is excellent. Waterfall is really adding value to you. And if you are getting repeat business from customers because of Waterfall model and the customers are also delighted, then go with it. Absolutely no problem. Yeah. Then scope control will be difficult in Agile. My view about scope is it should not be controlled. If the customer is asking for additional scope, deliver it, but remind him nothing is free. And if that additional scope is adding value to his business, if he's making more money than what he's spending on the project, he will give you that money. Otherwise, he will not give you that money. It is as simple as that. Yeah, you are all coming for this training program, and you are spending some money. Not in the webinar. Don't worry, I'm not going to send an invoice for everybody. So for those paid participants, see, you are spending that money, and I'm delivering a scope. And at the end of it, if you are getting more value than what you spent, you feel okay. Otherwise, you will feel cheated. And if you feel okay, you will come back to me with additional orders, additional referrals, and I'll also flourish. And with the value you got from this, okay, you'll also flourish. So always it's like how much did I pay and what is the benefit I'm getting. So there is always a cost-benefit analysis. And if the benefit is more than the cost which the customer is paying you, he will not mind. So that is where we are really talking about a partnership with the client. A client is not an enemy. Client is not an external entity who is working, and you are never working against him to loot him. You're supposed to partner with him to deliver value so that the customer will get value, he can be successful. And when he is successful, he'll make money. And when he makes more money, he'll give you more business. And you'll also make more money. So that is the idea. Right? So I think, yeah, we should get out of our narrow visions, because primarily it is used in product companies. So where most of these companies they have money, and if can I release a product without a vital feature, Or can I release a product? Can I release a car without air conditioning? No way. So if my competitor is providing something, okay, my product also should have it. And without that, the product will fail. And the cost of that failure will be much, much higher than building that feature, the cost of building that feature. The customer will not mind giving you that money. No, if you can work as a unit. How agile methodology processes are related to CMMI levels of process. So CMMI, I see absolutely no problem with CMMI. If you're following Scrum or Agile, you are fully compliant at level 2 and partially compliant at level 3. Because here it doesn't talk about organizational process focus. Anything at the organizational level, Scrum doesn't talk or Agile doesn't talk. But it definitely talk about project planning, tracking, oversight. All those level 2 KPIs and level 3 KPIs are get fully adheres to. So you can confidently say that if you follow Scrum, it is fully compliant at level 3, at level 2, and partially compliant at level 3. And level 4 and 5, I'm not very sure, because it doesn't talk much about subcontracting and those kind of things. The only thing is that there is, in most of the CMMI companies, there is a group called SCPG. Those guys may not really understand what is Scrum, because definitely there is requirements management. It's all done in a slightly different way. So if you compare it with your existing QMS, you will see a lot of non-conformances. But if you compare it with the CMMI, there won't be non-conformances. I hope I answered you, Bhaskar. So if your SCPG guys understand Scrum, they will never give you an NC. If ignorance is taken as strength, then you will get NCs. Okay, so to answer your question, Scrum is fully compliant at level 2, 3, partially compliant at level 4 and 5. That's it. It is not against CMMI. Can I conclude fixed price doesn't work well with Agile? No, you need not conclude that way, because if a customer has 100 features to be developed, you can always say that 100 features, this is the estimated effort, and you quote. And after that, if any scope change happens, okay, you can always raise a change request. This is exactly what's happening in the fixed price, the normal projects as well. So if you make a statement like fixed price will not work with Agile, that will be wrong. Yeah. So but then you'll have to educate the customer very, very clearly, like, okay, for this much scope and for this much effort we are spending, this is the cost. If it exceeds that, then okay, there will be I think the best model would be cost reimbursable, cost plus fixed fee, cost reimbursable, or time and material. So if the customer wants to develop 100 features, you estimate for that, and you tell them that if that 100 features, if the scope changes further, there will be a change request and pay as extra. So that's how even the waterfall model fixed price works. So there is no difference there. Right? I presume that in the waterfall model in fixed price projects, when the scope changes, you are giving it free. You are not giving it free. I meant any metric that could be used. Metrics are there in Agile. There are some very useful metrics, but then it's all different from the conventional metrics of waterfall and all, because you give me any metrics in waterfall, I can prove it wrong. You show me any metrics from any Indian IT company, I can prove it wrong, which is following waterfall. Yeah, the main thing is timesheet itself is a big lie in most of the places. Some places people work for 12 hours, 13 hours, and still they enter only 8 hours. Some places they effectively work only 6 hours, but still they enter 8 hours. So that basic unit itself is wrong. Yeah, and some places, okay, the productivity is counted based on LOC, lines of code. So a person who writes maximum lines of code to achieve minimum functionality will become a great programmer. And a guy who achieves maximum functionality with minimum lines of code will become very inefficient in those kind of metrics are there. So these metrics I don't want to map. So if you for your implementation, if you want to map, okay, it's okay. It's all available, not a problem. So here velocity calculation is very simple. So you cannot use it for waterfall. It will not help you. So velocity is something unique for agile. So and everything need not be mapped. Why it should be mapped? Yep. So if you are looking for LOC per person day, you can get from an agile implementation, right? If you want to see the LOC count after yeah, per person day, that productivity and all you will get from agile. Absolutely no problem. And if you want to add something extra to it in your implementation, okay, that is also fine. Which is very organization specific. Okay, so velocity is something which we will not be discussing today, because if I have to explain velocity, I'll have to talk about user stories. I'll have to talk about sprint planning meeting, playing poker. So that will take some time. So that is outside our agenda today. So velocity as it is we will not be able to use it for other organizational activities, because the velocity is valid only within the project, because velocity cannot be used even to compare two projects. Right? Because I'm constructing a house and my neighbor also constructed a house. His house construction got over very fast, and he's telling me like, look, my house construction finished very fast, so my team must be very efficient. So my argument is, okay, boss, my house is bigger than your house, so my house will take more time. So don't say that the team working on my house is bad and the team worked on your house is good, because your house was small and my house is big. So my house will take more time, whereas your house can get over fast. So this is the case with IT projects also. One product can be simple, we may finish it fast. So velocity will be very high maybe. So another product where the product itself is very complex and big, the velocity can be low. Or if the team is doing high quality work, maybe velocity may be low. A team which is doing low quality work, maybe the initial sprints will show high productivity, high velocity. So a lot of things need to be understood. So blindly if you say velocity is high, productivity is high, means it is wrong. So this is applicable within a project. In Agile, we talk about how many SP or values we are able to deliver. SP story, yes, you're right. In Agile, we talk about how many story points or values we are able to deliver. Yes. If the team of right knowledgeable people are going to work in sprint, okay. Yeah, all these are fine because you can compare productivity of agile teams within the team, sprint after sprint, not across teams. That's all I'm saying. If one project has 10 sprints, sprint 1, what is the velocity? Sprint 2, what is the velocity? Sprint 3, what is the velocity? And if the velocity is gradually increasing, then you can say that the team is doing well. But then you cannot compare the velocity number of your project with another project because the nature of work is different. And within an organization, you cannot say that if one team's velocity is very high and another team's velocity is very low, you cannot say that the team with higher velocity is doing better than the team with lower velocity. So yeah, these things, okay, now we are getting into the crux of Scrum and Agile. I think these discussions will be more fruitful when we discuss these things after going through these topics. We should understand what is a user story. We should understand what is a sprint planning meeting and how velocity is calculated. All those things we should understand. Then if you get into a discussion like this, okay, that will be fruitful. Not now. Yeah, it's all fine. Yeah, value-based, recipe-based pricing can be done for fixed price projects. Okay, perfect. I have been in the Scrum project in CMMI level 5 organizations by Bhaskar Ajari. That is also great. Is it possible to integrate Agile with waterfall or spiral? That will be like mixing coffee with tea. Sharad has this. Is it possible to integrate Agile with waterfall or spiral? Spiral may be okay because I don't see any difference between spiral and Agile. Spiral without work allocation becomes Agile. But waterfall is dangerous. It has to be. It is a different thing. So my take on this is good coffee is good, a good tea is good. But if I mix good coffee with good tea, then I cannot drink it. Yeah, that is the case. A good waterfall implementation is great. It will give you productivity. Things are fine. A good agile implementation is also fine. It will give you the output. But if you mix up these two things, then it is problem actually. Then it will be, yeah, you will not get the benefit. The intended benefits you will not get. Next question is, what could be the ideal sprint cycle duration? Oh, that is, see, maximum is 30 days. We have done sprints of 5 days duration. We have done it for 15 days duration. It all depends on the size of the product and the trust level between the product owner and the team. It all depends on how many days the product owner can wait to see the results, kind of. So if the product is big, no point in doing 5-day sprints or 15-day sprints because the team will not be able to demonstrate anything. So the size of the product also has a big say on it. So trust level, the size of the product, the team size, so all these things matters. So maximum is 30 days. Anything lesser than that is acceptable. And the sprints, the cycle time of the sprint duration cannot fluctuate too much. So the first sprint cannot be 5 days, next sprint 15 days, third sprint 5 days, no. If you're running with the 15-day sprints, all your sprints should be 15 days. Or at least, okay, some 6 sprints should run for 15 days. And after that, if you want to revise to 30 days, okay, that is fine. So there is nothing called an ideal sprint cycle duration. What is recommended is 30 days. 30 days, you cannot go beyond 30 days. Anything lesser than 30 is fine. Okay. So if you have any questions now, those of you, if you are my interest is okay, definitely my interest is business. So if any one of you want to join for this course, great, you're most welcome. Or if any one of you have needs to do a Scrum training as part of in your organization, okay, I'm game for it. I can come and deliver a customized training for your organization. And we do provide consulting in implementing Scrum. So that those opportunities are there. We are there as well. How can we accommodate a new CR in the existing burn down chart? What is that? Can you elaborate? New CR is fine. Let's say the customer is coming out with a new feature during the middle of the sprint and says that, okay, I want this free feature, it's a must as part of the sprint. Without that, no, because I have a commitment to their customer. So without this feature, no point in getting this product, and it has to be done immediately. Then okay, you can try to negotiate. You can try to negotiate with the customer. Okay, in the sense, instead of some other feature, can I move out some other feature which is of the same size, and then instead of that, can I take this kind of thing? So a kind of bartering is okay. So if the customer agrees, that means the product owner should agree, the team also should agree. So you can always exchange it for another feature which is not yet developed during the sprint, which was scheduled for development and not yet developed. In that case, okay, you can accommodate. You cannot thrust it upon the team. The team should agree, the product owner should agree, and still you should be able to complete it within the 30-day cycle, the agreed upon sprint duration, then it is fine. Okay, I think we have exceeded our time because we said the schedule was 1:30 to 2:30 and we have exceeded it. So I think it was a fruitful session. Got some value out of this session. So if anybody wants to join for the course, you are welcome. The details are available at PMRI campus. And thanks for joining. Thanks for your time. Bhaskar, you're there? I'm unable to hear you. Yeah, now I can. Hello? Ah, okay. Yes, now I can hear you. Yeah. Okay. So, you have any questions? Are you planning to go for PMI or the ACP certification? Okay. So hello. Yes. Yeah, Vinod. How are you? Yeah, you're from. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. So, okay, fine. We'll have the next session tomorrow. Is it okay for you? Tomorrow. Anyway, I'll send you an email tonight. Okay. So tomorrow is Saturday, and let me see, because we had a plan to go somewhere. No, that is cancelled. That is cancelled because my visa did not come through, so that is not there. Okay. So, I'll send you an email. How was the session? Was it useful? Okay, fine. Yes, tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Bye.